Hi, everyone. Coach Leah Dunlop here, the Oracle on Purpose. And today is Wild Wisdom Wednesday. I wanted to take a moment to just reacquaint everyone with the idea and the concept of what Wild Wisdom Wednesday is really quickly. So I can't believe it, but it's been about a year now since we started doing Wild Wisdom Wednesdays live on Facebook. And today, it's weird, Facebook is being kind of persnickety. So I'm going to be doing kind of a live video that is also going to be replayed on Facebook at this point. So thanks for your patience. I'm glad you're all here. If you're watching the replay, which now everyone is, I want to let you know that we're going to continue to do Wild Wisdom Wednesdays. You'll see some changes coming up in the year ahead, but I'm really glad for all of you that are showing up and sharing your comments and sharing the replays and things like that. I really appreciate you. And I appreciate the thing that matters most to me, which is that people who show up here and watch my videos are not only interested in making a difference, but on truly transforming their lives and living on purpose. So today's book, drum roll please, is Emmett Fox, The Power Through Constructive Thinking. So it has been kind of my observation lately that there have been a lot of kind of negative threads on Facebook, and I wanted to kind of maybe stop the madness. I don't know, maybe at least put a little pause, a pin in it, if you will, and help, hopefully, others recognize that we are always at choice, regardless of what's happening around us, right? So it feels as if things are really taking off and overwhelming us. And even in those moments, we can still be at choice for how we react to them. So I thought today's book would be a great example of how you can kind of take the opportunity to turn it around, no matter where you are. So of course, Wild Wisdom Wednesday, we grab a book, we pick a page wildly, right, at random, read a little excerpt from it, and typically I find that there's some sort of wisdom in that not only touches me, but those people that watch the live program or the replay. So that's the philosophy, and that's what we'll continue to do, because I feel like it really is hopefully putting something positive out in the world that people can listen to and ruminate on and discuss in the context of the comment section. And so I will continue to do it because I want to show up to share with people how we can choose to be positive even when all around us things seem to be very bleak. So enough of that, right? Let's move in. So today, again, it is Emmett Fox, Power Through Constructive Thinking. Emmett Fox, Power Through Constructive Thinking is today's book. And we are going to flip pages. And we're going to land here. So the subtitle of this section, it's page 101, Daniel in the Lion's Den. You saw me. I just picked it. All right. So when some great problem or trouble comes into your life, you are, figuratively speaking, thrown into a pit of lions. And many fearful hearts have felt that this is indeed a very graphic description of the state of mind they have experienced. I don't know if you or anybody you know right now is feeling like they're stuck in the pit of lions, but I feel like that's kind of a general consensus right now, just with people feeling like they need to lash out or protect themselves, kind of one or the other, right? So I'm going to read that again really quickly so you guys can stay with me on this. When some great problem or trouble comes into your life, you are, figuratively speaking, thrown into a pit of lions. And many fearful hearts have felt that this is indeed a very graphic description of the state of mind they have experienced. So it goes on to say, now let us look for the key to the story, and we shall find it here in verse 10. Daniel had acquired the habit of prayer. Daniel was a man who practiced the presence of God, not now and again, but constantly and regularly. This verse is very illuminating. We are told that Daniel knew that the warrant for his arrest was signed. right? Trouble was coming. When you are working with and praying regularly along the right lines, you will always get to know anything which it is necessary that you should know. You will not be taken by surprise. Daniel knew that trouble was pending, and immediately he started praying or treating about about it. He did not pronounce an affirmation once or twice and expect it to work. I'm going to read that again. Seriously. He did not pronounce an affirmation once or twice and expect it to work like an incantation. He prayed, clearing up his consciousness 3 times a day, his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem. Of course, the chamber is the secret place of Jesus or one's consciousness. Jerusalem is always the highest part of man's nature or personality, short of the actual realization of God. And so Daniel, 3 times a day, turned in thought to God and raised his thought as high as he possibly could. No one can do more than this. All right, I'm going to stop there. I think that's enough. I think it's wholly appropriate in light of what we're talking about. And honestly, I think it's spot on, which again, see, Wild Wisdom Wednesday. I swear, I just pulled that right up as you guys were sitting here. Well, or as you're watching the replay. So much goodness in that. But I think the overarching theme is a couple of things to hit on. He did not just do his affirmations, prayer, treatment, whatever you want to call it, once and expect it to work. He continued. Also, I feel that it's important to remind you that in that same stanza, it talks about that the warnings were on the wall, right? There was a warning. There was enough acknowledgement that something was going awry for him to do such, right? So sometimes when we feel like we're in that pit, we think that we didn't have a warning, right? People will say things like, it came out of the blue, or I wasn't expecting this. However, as the Oracle on Purpose, right, and as someone who has begun to live in full alignment with that special gift that I have of knowing and hearing and receiving messages, I also know absolutely that every single human being is given that intuitive sense. Now, it may not be as strong. Some people have a stronger connection to it than others, but everyone has it because it's instinctual. It is the basis for us to thrive and survive as human bodies, right? So there is a knowing that is designed as part of who we are as humans to keep us safe, right? So that's your intuition, if you will, your gut instinct. And there are those like myself who are gifted with either, however you want to look at it, either a additional level of that sense or truly connected to a eternal and external source of wisdom and guidance. Either way, true, like, let me just say this, either way, it doesn't matter. You are being guided every day. Whether or not you listen, whether or not you follow that guidance is completely up to you. So I think that's another piece of that puzzle that they're talking about there, of being in the process daily, a process, whatever your process is, daily, to remain connected to that flow, to remain connected to that intuitive guidance, to pay attention to what it means to know and trust and have faith that you are being guided through whatever the process is, whatever that pit of lions is for you. And as I often say to my clients and to my groups, life is not what happens to you. Life happens through you. The universe is growing through our experiences. It is expanding, learning, changing, shifting, shaping through us. So we are already supported in that end. And that other piece in there that was spoken of just briefly about fear, right? because that fear can leave us feeling overwhelmed, leave us feeling frustrated and put upon and hopeless. And it can kind of consume us, and then it can feed itself. How does it feed itself? Okay, let's think like currently in our current experience of our social media platforms. Fear feeds itself through other people's fears, right? So it's like a fear monster, if you will, that consumes more and more fear. I'm angry, I'm upset, I get online, I shout about it, and someone else goes, yeah, that's right, I want to shout about that too. And so the fear grows. So what do we do about it? What can each individual do to make that experience different? I can say for myself, when I see someone I care about, I see a client, I see a coworker, I see someone that's in one of the networking groups or arenas that I participate in, struggling in that pit, it is not my intention to get down in the pit with them and sit there, but instead to come into their space and remind them of the way out, that there is a way. Now, it's different for every experience, for every person, but I absolutely firmly believe there is always a way through the experience that will bring us further forward into where we want to be and grow and experience our lives as human beings. Because as I said, that's what I think it's all about anyway, right? So if that's what it's all about, clearly there's something happening here that's shifting. And even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's painful or troubling or scary, if we surround ourselves with people who know who we truly are in the bigger sense of our humanity, then we can be lifted up out and through that process. Conversely, if we surround ourselves with people who are simply wanting to pile on with more negativity, then we are going to stay marred in that mud and muck of the experience. So that brings us back to how do we keep ourselves aligned and righted and going the right, quote unquote, going forward. I don't want to say right direction, right? Did you see that? It's like that's not really what I want to say. However, finding a clearer path for ourselves that gives us more hope, more freedom, more spiritual awakening, I think is valuable. And I personally find it the key to attaining, like I want to attain that level where even as I feel that space coming around me, I step into that calmness of knowing I have a practice to keep me centered. So to the naysayers who may or may not be watching this, who think, oh, it's just a bunch of Pollyanna, you know what? Maybe. Let's just say that's the truth, though I don't feel that's the case. I would much rather feel Pollyanna and get through a difficult time than get to a place where I am so consumed by fear and doubt and anger and frustration that I am physically ill and incapable of moving forward, right? So let's just say that, just, okay, fine, so be it. Although again, I don't believe that. I'm just simply saying, even if that's your vent on it, what is the trouble with trying to find some peace in the moment? I am not, by the way, suggesting that we are whitewashing the experience, but instead saying, if I am in this experience, I will take something from it that will benefit me by being as positive as possible that there is actually something happening for my benefit at minimum. And I feel like part of that is that ritual, that daily practice of staying in a mindset that keeps me looking for that positive note, that piece of that puzzle that is really helping me somehow shift or move something that I've been asking for, looking for. And maybe it's not just in that same little week. Maybe weeks ago or months ago, I said, I need something to change. And in order for it to change, all of this other stuff had to kind of be disassembled so that there was space for that thing to happen, right? So if I can even say, okay, I'm not really even sure why the heck this is all happening, but if I believe and I know that something in this is creating something better for me, then I can simply stay with my practice of remaining positive, finding ways to pray, treat, meditate, affirm, gather, good juju, whatever you want to call it, each and every day, so that I can sustain myself through this process. So, wow, I gotta say, I've been doing Wild Wisdom Wednesdays for about a year now. It's got to be one of the top ones that was so in alignment with what I was thinking before we started. So I love what a recognition that is of how we are all connected to this universal source. And it is really, really trying to communicate to us that we are safe, that we are loved, and that we are able to handle all of the things that life puts in front of us. So I could go on, honestly, for a long time today about this subject, but I actually have to get offline. So I wanted to just share this with you. I have, in just this day, traveled through the internet, excuse me, the technological pit, if you will, trying to get this video out today. So I hope that you watch it. I hope that it lands for you and that you get something from it that helps you to feel more motivated to move forward, more encouraged to find your own ritual, your own practice to remain connected to your true source, and to understand that even if you are feeling like you are in a den of lion pits, there is absolutely a way out. And that may mean you need to reach for guidance. You need to reach for support. You need to think differently about the situation in front of you. And sometimes we just need to take responsibility for the actions that have brought us to the space that we're in, right? Turn around on that fear and say, okay, so I'm in this space. What are you going to do about it? One small thing, one small step forward in behalf of yourself and your dreams and your goals and your hopes, aspirations, and your purpose as a human being. What one small, specifically targeted thing could you do right now? I hope you find that. And I hope that you share this video with those that you feel could benefit from hearing this message. Until next time, I am Coach Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and this is Wild Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you, and have a great day.